We just started the season. DiJonai Carrington has already tried to take somebody's eyeball.
It was the eye poke heard across the world last year. Clearly a non-basketball play, but no foul was called, no flagrant was called. The WNBA stays absolutely silent.
3 games, 2 blatant eye pokes. One league that seems to be looking the other way, whistling Dixie while its stars get mauled. We saw it last season with Caitlin Clark. This season, it's Paige Bueckers, and the common thread, the name that keeps popping up, DeWanna Bonners. Wait, no, that's not right. It's DiJonai Carrington's fingernails, her almost signature reckless aggression, and a deafening silence from the WNBA that's honestly more shocking than any missed call. Is this a basketball league or an MMA promotion in disguise? Because I'm starting to get confused.
Dallas Wings 3 games in, and DiJonai Carrington has already tried to take somebody's eyeball out of their skull with those damn fingernails.
And Carrington? Oh, she's not just a repeat offender, folks. She's practically assembling a sizzle reel on how to potentially injure your opponents and still get cheers from the crowd and nothing from the league. Seriously, instead of holding her accountable, what do we get? PR spin. Instead of suspensions that send a message, we get denials that insult our intelligence. And instead of actually protecting the players who are bringing millions of new eyes to the sport, what happens? They reportedly try to snatch press credentials from legendary journalists who dare to ask the obvious question, why does someone keep clawing at players' faces? It's baffling. So, I gotta ask you right off the bat, do you think DiJonai Carrington deserves a suspension for this pattern? Smash that like button if you say yes, and drop DJ Band in the comments below. Let's see how many of us are on the same page.
The WNBA stays absolutely silent. This type of behavior is encouraged.
Seriously, this not funny after, of course, what we saw last year. This was the eye gouge from hell, where DiJonai Carrington tried to take her fingernails and scoop them out of Caitlin Clark's skull.
Welcome to the WNBA 2024 edition, where apparently the refs need better glasses, the media gets muzzled if they ask the wrong questions, and Carrington's fingernails are racking up more screen time than actual post-game analysis. Let's roll the tape back, shall we? Remember the playoffs last year? Game 1. Caitlin Clark, the biggest name in college hoops, making her pro playoff debut, goes down, clutching her eye. The crowd shrieks, the broadcast shows replay after replay. The angles? They're undeniable. DiJonai Carrington's hand, clear as day, swipes down and rakes across Clark's face. And the call on the floor, crickets, no flagrant, no tech, not even a common foul. Just another day at the office in the W apparently. And Carrington's excuse after the game, get this, I didn't even know I hit her. Come on, you expect us to believe that?
Christine Brennan asked DiJonai Carrington about that specific play. DiJonai said, oh, I had no idea. You know, she played dumb. I mean, I don't know if she's playing, but she acted dumb. Let's just say she acted dumb. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
She literally went into full-blown amnesia mode. Meanwhile, Christine Brennan, yes, the Christine Brennan, Hall of Fame journalist, a titan who's covered more Olympics than most of us have had hot dinners, asked a simple follow-up, not an attack, not an accusation, just a journalistic question. Did you know what you did? And that, my friends, that simple question was apparently enough for the WNBA to reportedly try and get her credentials revoked. You heard me. Not a suspension for the player who very clearly made contact with an opponent's eye. Oh no, a punishment for the reporter who had the audacity to notice and ask about it. When a league punishes legitimate questions but not dangerous contact, you're not watching a sport striving for integrity anymore. You're watching a masterclass in damage control, what I call the WNBA spin cycle.
The WNBA Dweeb Police, aka the Players Association, they asked for that Hall of Fame journalist credentials to get stripped from her. Tell me this league can't be more unserious than that. You can't even ask basic questions. So when you fail to actually punish, course correct bad behavior, what happens? Bad behavior continues to be bad behavior.
What is going on in this league? DiJonai Mustard Carrington is hunting for eyeballs again.
All right, let's fast forward to this season. Game 2, Paige Bueckers, another generational talent by the way, who's battled back from multiple devastating leg injuries to regain her incredible form, goes up for a block. It's a clean play by Paige, but then Carrington comes flying in, not like a basketball player, but like a heat-seeking missile. She doesn't just bump Paige, no, she pushes her, then swipes, and then you see her fingers drag back across Bueckers' face in a move that would get you an instant penalty, maybe even ejected in the UFC. Paige hits the deck, immediately grabbing her face, and DiJonai, she just stands there. No apology. No, my bad. Didn't mean it. Just this cold, stone-faced stare that screamed, yeah, I did it, so what? And what did the league, the officials, or anyone do? You guessed it, absolutely nothing.
Now, in this angle, you see Paige already making a pretty good defensive play right here. She has a hand on the ball, but then you have DiJonai coming from behind with force, a reckless chase down. Pushes Shepard and Paige forward, right? Gets the block. Now, look at Paige Bueckers' leg. This is why this is dangerous. I know I'm going to have people saying, oh, you're soft, and this is basketball. No. This isn't basketball right here. This is unhinged, upset, frustrated play.
So much class indeed. Look, with the stare down. I mean, what are we doing? Is it a prereq not to have any class in this league? Look at that. Look at that. I mean, what the hell is wrong with these players?
That silence. It's getting awfully familiar, isn't it? It's like it's the WNBA's new unofficial motto. See no evil, hear no evil, penalize no evil, especially if it involves certain players. They aren't protecting their biggest assets, the very stars drawing in new fans. They're leaving them exposed. Let's just call it what it is. If Paige Bueckers had done that exact same thing to Carrington, can you imagine the media firestorm? The outrage. But somehow, when it's Carrington doing the swiping, it gets dismissed as just aggressive play. Hold on, aggressive play doesn't usually leave you checking for corneal scratches. I'm already seeing the comments. Oh, you're just defending the popular players. No, I'm defending common sense and player safety.
You see DiJonai standing on business? Yeah, DiJonai is immature. DiJonai walks around like she has something to prove to everybody. Walks around like she has a chip on her shoulder. DiJonai is so not confident in who she is as a person, she feels the need to project that on others.
And don't you dare let anyone gaslight you into thinking this is just good old physical basketball. Look, I grew up watching legends like Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Ford. I even watched the bad boy Detroit Pistons. I know what physical tough basketball looks like. This ain't it, Chief. This is reckless. This is endangering. This is dragging your hand across someone's eye and having the nerve to pretend it's just part of a box out. Carrington isn't making plays on the ball in these moments. She's making direct, repeated contact with opponents' faces. And not just once, not some freak accident. We're talking twice in back-to-back seasons against arguably the two most hyped, most visible young stars in women's basketball.
And I don't care what she was doing. That is uncalled for. That is unnecessary. This whole play says she is unhinged, she is mad, she is frustrated, and that's how she's playing. She's playing off of frustrated emotion. That is unsafe, man. She could have really hurt both of these players right here. And we know how Paige be suffering with the leg injury. Why would you put her in danger like that?
You think that's a coincidence? Really? No, that's not a coincidence. That's starting to look like a calling card. And let's not insult our own intelligence by pretending she's unaware of what she's doing. She's a veteran in this league. She's way past pleading rookie ignorance. She knows the angles. She knows where her hands are going. And more importantly, she seems to know there will be zero consequences. And that right there is the crux of it. That's why it keeps happening. Because absolutely no one in a position of power is effectively telling her to stop. If you've seen enough and agree this needs to stop, drop a stop sign emoji in the comments.
Is going to seriously injure a player in the WNBA. She once again uses her fingernail to scrape across the face of an opposing player. The WNBA supports and panders towards DiJonai's form of bigotry. I gotta tell you, it's insane. Look at that. Look at the steel on that, folks. Look at where there's no way. You'll never in a million quadrillion years convince me that's not some intentional eye gouge situation going on in the, look at that. The fingers are actually, let me make sure, the fingers are actually cupped around like that, trying to do a scraping motion.
Now, let's talk about the off-court brand for a second, because it's relevant. DiJonai Carrington has cultivated a very specific persona. She's outspoken, she's proud, she claps back hard on Twitter, she loves to bait opposing fan bases, she skillfully plays the role of the villain when it generates buzz, and then can flip to the victim when that narrative suits her better. Remember last year, when Caitlin Clark fans, rightfully in my opinion, questioned the eye incident, Carrington was posting memes, almost mocking the concern. This week, when Paige Bueckers was almost taken out, what did Carrington say? Silence. Crickets, but scroll through her social media history and you'll see the pattern. It's all eyes on her, unless of course those eyes are black and blue from incidental contact she initiated.
There's no way. You can't make me believe that this is actually a basketball play. The attack on the ball is, but everything after that, not a basketball play whatsoever. When we start doing the whole drag back motion, that's when we go from, well, we're playing basketball to now I'm just DiJonai Carrington being a dirtbag, being a dirty player, doing what I do best. And DiJonai Carrington, ask and you shall receive. The internet's onto you. We're on to you, DiJonai.
And let me be crystal clear, being outspoken, having a big personality, that's not the problem. Sports need those characters. It makes it more entertaining, but there is a Grand Canyon-sized difference between being edgy and actively endangering your colleagues. And Carrington in these instances has bulldozed past that line like she bulldozes through defenders on her way to, well, their faces apparently. This isn't empowerment we're seeing. This is unchecked ego with a side of sharpened fingernails. And if you think I'm exaggerating, you haven't been paying attention. What I'm about to share next about the league's reaction, or lack thereof, is even more infuriating.
DiJonai Carrington, I will give you this credit. You're consistent, huh? If nothing else, you're consistent. If not talented, you're consistent. If not a good player, you're consistent. I guess you just hate those white girls in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark last year, Jessica Shepard this year. Who's it gonna be next year? Courtney Vandersloot? Cameron Brown? Who are you going to attack next year, DiJonai? This is pathetic behavior.
You know what the truly saddest part of this whole recurring nightmare is? We're almost not even surprised by DiJonai anymore. Not really. We've seen the tape. We kind of expect this from her now, which is a terrible indictment in itself. But what didn't we expect? What's truly mind-boggling is that seemingly not a single sideline reporter, not one league official, not one WNBA branded talk show even bothered to seriously address or even mention what happened to Paige Bueckers right after it happened. Where is the journalism? Where is the basic sports coverage? Christine Brennan, a legend, gets publicly dragged through the mud and threatened for asking a perfectly valid question, and now it seems like everyone else is too scared to speak up. So what happens? The league drifts into this cone of silence where tough questions are apparently off limits, and dirty plays, well, they just get ignored, or worse, subtly celebrated as toughness. You cannot grow a sport by protecting the wrong people. You can't build a positive culture if you're terrified to call out the rot when you see it.
What are we doing? This league is wild. I don't get it. So, yeah, DiJonai would have been great at roller derby. This person got a really good look at it right there. Look at that. Are you kidding me? I mean, what are we doing here? Are we still trying to convince people that this is basketball? Is that what we're doing? I mean, again, one could argue the WNBA is actually loving this kind of thing.
Let's just play this out. Imagine for a terrifying second that Paige hadn't just stumbled after that hit. What if she'd landed awkwardly? Did she hit her head hard, torn an ACL again, or God forbid suffered a detached retina from that clawing motion? Now, ask yourself honestly, would the WNBA have acted decisively then, or would we still be hearing the same tired, empty phrases like, oh, it was just an emotional game, unintentional contact, or the classic, let the players play? The uncomfortable truth, folks, is that this league often doesn't act because historically they haven't had to face severe enough immediate consequences. Not until someone threatens to sue, not until an entire season is jeopardized for a star. Not until a major sponsorship is on the line. The WNBA has consistently shown it's not proactive when it comes to these things. It's reactive, and even then, sometimes barely. Player safety should never, ever hinge on whether the injury clip goes viral enough to force their hand. But in the WNBA right now, that feels exactly like the system we're operating under. If you agree that player safety should be proactive, not reactive, type safety first in the comments.
Again, one could argue the WNBA is actually loving this kind of thing. To me, this is not how you actually get eyeballs on this sport. This is not how it's done. This is not how it should be done. Back to her old tricks, WNBA waiting for someone to lose an eye before they do something. This person says they're going to take out Paige too. What a jackass. Do they wear face mask in that sport? I mean, this is nuts. Someone should look at her college tapes and see how long she's been aiming at opponents' eyes. Has this been a long time? I mean, that's a full-blown eye rake she was trying to injure. It's crazy. It is crazy. There we go again. She just loves going for the eyes. I mean, is there a commissioner in this league? Question mark. Is there a commissioner in this sport? DiJonai Carrington's such a violent player. Someone needs to check her for anger issues.
Remember that big, bold statement the league put out last year about protecting the integrity of the game? Yeah, me too. Where was all that passionate energy when Caitlin Clark hit the floor, grabbing her eye? Where was it when Paige Bueckers was manhandled and nearly had her face rearranged just days ago? We've seen players get fined hefty sums for merely talking about the referees. We've seen players suspended for minor scuffles, for things far less dangerous than what we're discussing. But Carrington, a now two-time high-profile eye contact specialist, she gets labeled competitive. Listen, consistency isn't just a catchy slogan you slap on a marketing campaign, it's a fundamental standard. And right now in the WNBA, that standard seems to be buried under a mountain of PR fluff, carefully curated TikTok clips, and a very, very selective silence. It's frustrating, isn't it?
This league is pathetic, folks. This is a joke. This type of stuff gets encouraged. WNBA prides itself in being a physically untalented league, and we are all hip to this nonsense. That's funny. I mean, that's just poor defense. DiJonai Carrington, lucky Paige didn't get hurt. SMH. That flagrant hit was stupid. Their #1 draft pick got hurt as well. That's an absolutely good point as well. Look at Paige getting crushed right here, putting the star player in line for an injury for absolutely no reason. All because you wanted to play dirty.
And let's just rip the band-aid off the laziest, most predictable counter-argument right now. Oh, you only care because it's Caitlin Clark or Paige Bueckers. It's about race. No, stop. Let's shut that down immediately. We care because they are two of the sport's brightest stars, bringing unprecedented attention. And yes, they appear to be getting targeted with dangerous plays that go unpunished. If Arike Ogunbowale or Aja Wilson were repeatedly getting raked in the eye by any player, this video would still exist, and the outrage would be just as loud. And flip it, if Carrington had been the one getting her eyes gouged, we'd be screaming for the exact same justice and accountability for her. This isn't about color, it's about conduct. It's about a pattern of reckless behavior being ignored, perhaps because the person engaging in it is louder at playing the "I'm being unfairly scrutinized" card on social media than the actual victims are at saying "ouch my eye." You don't get a free pass for dangerous plays just because you've mastered the art of the Twitter clapback, period.
At WNBA pretends to be concerned about players. They have zero tolerance policy on mean words, but they allow DiJonai Carrington to play with daggers for fingernails. Someone is going to get seriously hurt at the hands of DiJonai's scissor hands.
Let's talk about the toughness illusion. That word, tough. It gets thrown around constantly, especially with Carrington. Oh, she plays tough. She brings that energy. She's not afraid of contact, and that's all fine and good, but there is a universe of difference between playing tough and playing reckless. There's a massive distinction between hustle and actual harm. Elena Del Don is tough. Sylvia Fowles was the definition of tough. Brianna Stewart is tough. Carrington, in these specific repeated instances, she's leaning into chaos. When your signature style of play instills more fear of injury in opponents than AW of your skill, you're not just competing anymore. You're actively endangering. You're not elevating the game. You're degrading its integrity, one reckless swipe at a time. What do you think is the difference between tough and dirty? Let me know your definition in the comments. This is a good one to discuss.
This is what DiJonai does. She knows the playbook. She followed the Angel Reese playbook. Last year, how do I get my name up? How do I get my fame up? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to taunt Caitlin Clark. I'm going to attack Caitlin Clark. I'm going to do everything on social media speaking about Caitlin Clark in the Indiana Fever. That's going to get my name out there. Well, DiJonai, happy your name's out there.
But here's the thing the league needs to understand. The fans are waking up. You can only try to pull the wool over people's eyes for so long. Fans aren't stupid. They saw what happened to Caitlin. They saw with their own eyes what happened to Paige. And they clearly see what the league is desperately pretending not to see. You want those TV ratings to keep climbing? Then respect your viewers enough to address the obvious. You want sustainable long-term growth for this league? Then protect your stars, all of them, from dangerous play. Because let me tell you, the second the wider audience truly believes you don't genuinely care about the safety and well-being of your most marketable, most exciting players, that's the exact second they start changing the channel, and that's a game nobody wins. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you found this breakdown valuable, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video. The more people talk about this, the harder it is for the league to ignore. Let me know your biggest frustration with the WNBA right now in the comments. Stay safe, play fair, and I'll see you in the next one.